€150 million for Florian Wirtz. That number alone instantly brings to mind blockbuster deals like Mbappe, Neymar, or Bellingham. It's the kind of fee that once forced Real Madrid to unlock their vault, a number usually reserved for global superstars, already proven at the highest level. And yet now that same figure is being thrown on the table for a 22-year-old. With Liverpool reportedly ready to pay the full €150 million, the question is no longer if Wirtz is talented. It's just how good is he to justify such a bold move? Wirtz isn't the kind of player who dazzles you with flashy solo runs or thunderous long shots. What makes him special is subtler. He knows exactly where to be, when to be there, and what to do to keep the game flowing in his team's favor. Every time he dribbles past a defender or threads a perfect assist, German fans have a familiar saying, "Florian's doing his magic again." Because when Wirtz is on the pitch, anything feels possible. A defense-splitting pass, a burst of acceleration out of nowhere. It's all within reach. His sweet spot? Operating between the lines. That's where he shines. He receives the ball under pressure, turns quickly, and already sees the space behind a compact defensive block. Just one subtle movement from a defender, and boom, the ball's through, right into the danger zone. And his dribbling. It's not about style, it's about purpose. Wirtz dribbles in short, sharp bursts to unbalance the defensive shape, drag players out of position, then exploits the gaps with a clever through ball or quick combination play. Over the past 2 seasons, Wirtz has averaged 2.5 chances created per game, ranking among the Bundesliga's elite for final third passing, and every 102 minutes he's directly involved in a goal. But even those numbers can't fully capture the intelligence in his spatial awareness and game tempo. Xabi Alonso put it best. Wirtz is a special player. He makes the hardest things look simple. To Bundesliga watchers, Wirtz is a footballer who sees the game ahead of everyone else. He knows when to pass, when to dribble, when to run, or when to simply stay still. That's why, despite not dominating highlight reels, he's the kind of player elite managers build systems around. When a club is ready to spend €150 million on an attacking midfielder, they're not just buying goals or assists. They're investing in someone who makes the entire system work better. Wirtz isn't a star who waits for a moment to shine. He's the type who elevates everyone around him. At Leverkusen, it's clear week after week. He's the heartbeat of Alonso's pressing system, midfield control, and wide attacks. Whether the ball is with Grimaldo on the left or Frimpong on the right, once Wirtz finds space between the lines, chaos erupts in the opponent's back line. His game is built on just enough movement, just enough touches. Never doing too much, but always doing enough. Liverpool are reportedly prepared to meet Bayer Leverkusen's full €150 million asking price for German midfielder Florian Wirtz. This would surpass their previous transfer record, set at £85 million for Darwin Núñez in 2022. Wirtz has agreed to personal terms with Liverpool and is expected to sign a 5-year contract. The club aims to finalize the deal promptly to avoid a prolonged negotiation process. If completed, Wirtz's transfer would not only be a significant financial commitment, but also a statement of intent as Liverpool look to strengthen their squad for the upcoming season. In the race to sign Florian Wirtz, 3 names stood out: Liverpool, Bayern Munich, and Manchester City. But now only one remains. Both Bayern and City, despite keeping close tabs on him, have pulled out of the race, citing a transfer fee that far exceeds their budgets. But what's fascinating is how each club envisioned Wirtz in a completely different role. For Manchester City, he was seen as the natural heir to Kevin De Bruyne, not because they're identical players, but because Wirtz could bring a similar kind of influence, just in his own unique way. De Bruyne, in recent years, has evolved into more of a tempo setter, delivering final balls with precision rather than carrying the ball forward himself. Wirtz, on the other hand, thrives in progression. He dribbles, draws defenders in, and then unlocks space for others to attack. In a City system that leans more on wide threats like Doku, Savinho, or even Marmoush, Wirtz would have been the perfect connector, knitting everything together around Haaland. But with Leverkusen demanding a sky-high fee, City have turned their attention to Lyon's Ryan Cherki as a more affordable alternative. At Liverpool, under Arne Slot, he's viewed as a dynamic answer to their midfield creativity problem. They've experimented with dual advanced midfielders like Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai, but neither offers Wirtz's sharpness. The quick turns, the dribbles, the snapshots, Wirtz does it all in just a few touches. Slot has openly admitted that Liverpool need more unpredictability in attack. Wirtz is exactly that. Whether in a 4-2-4 or 4-3-3, he fits as the perfect bridge between midfield and the front three. Or even as a false nine, a role he's played for Alonso with great success. At Bayern, it was a different story. This was about domestic dominance. They already have Jamal Musiala, a dazzling dribbler who loves to operate in the half spaces. Some feared that pairing Wirtz with Musiala would lead to tactical overlap, but in reality their chemistry with the German national team suggests otherwise. One holds the space, the other drifts inside or switches flanks. It works. Bayern saw the potential of using both as dual attacking midfielders, floating just off Harry Kane, opening lanes for a new right winger like Michael Olise. In the familiar Bundesliga scenario where Bayern dominate possession, adding Wirtz would ease the creative load on Musiala and add an extra layer of control and craft. But in the end, Wirtz has made it clear. He wants a new challenge, and that challenge, it seems, awaits him at Anfield. In this generation overflowing with young talent, Florian Wirtz isn't the strongest, fastest, or flashiest. But the longer you watch him, the more you realize he's different. Every touch, every movement is clean, intentional, and precise. Sometimes it's just a gentle touch to open a passing angle. Sometimes it's holding the ball for an extra second so a teammate can make their run. But when he's operating in the final third, defenses tense up. They know something's coming. Experts describe Wirtz as a player who can break pressing systems simply by standing in the right spot. And what sets him apart isn't just what he does on the field, but how he carries himself off it. While many young stars are surrounded by PR teams and commercial agents, Wirtz still lets his parents handle everything, from contracts to career planning. When he broke into the first team, he reportedly spent just €150 a month. He's quiet, reserved, sometimes distant from the chaos of modern football celebrity. But those who've worked with him all say the same thing. A young man of few words who listens more than he speaks. That humility makes him adaptable to any system. He doesn't need the spotlight. He just plays his part perfectly. Of course, €150 million for a 22-year-old still carries risk. Wirtz has only had one season of Champions League football. And while he impressed, the relentless pace of the Premier League is another level. But the clubs pursuing him understand that, and they're weighing it carefully. At this price, he's already being bracketed with football's elite. Meanwhile, just below that tier, there are still plenty of proven, reliable options, like Bruno Fernandes or Dani Olmo. Both have international experience, positional versatility, and a track record of consistency. But Wirtz? He's on the brink of something bigger. A transition from generational talent to the kind of player you build your entire system around. Liverpool may view him as the long-term creative heartbeat, perhaps even as part of life after Salah. Spending €150 million is always a gamble, but maybe Wirtz is the kind of player you have to gamble on, because if you don't, you may never get the chance again. He may not be the superstar who sells out stadiums on name alone, but he's the one who gets you closer to winning. And in an era of inflated transfer fees and highlight-chasing stars, Florian Wirtz doesn't need to do anything loud to be noticed. He just keeps showing up, keeps playing his game, and keeps making the biggest clubs in the world want him more.